I met Selman Waksman once when I was a student attending a conference in Germany with Nobel laureates. I would have never imagined that I would become director of the Rutgers Institute that he founded. My work in molecular genetics helped lay the foundation for the biotechnology revolution that's essential to our understanding of the genetic blueprint of animals, plants, and microbes.
Well, Yo made really enormous contributions, both scientific and technical, to the molecular biology revolution and the whole field of genomics. I mean, of course, he's best known for his development of shotgun sequencing methods, which he started before he got to the Institute, and that really provided an approach for sequencing and assembling genomes of many different organisms, including human genomes, crop genomes, and many other animals.
Initially, he used his sequencing method for sequencing, and then he started to isolate genes that were important, particularly in the nutritional area. He not only sequenced, but then he looked at the expression of these genes, and then he went on from there to look at the regulation of the expression. And believe it or not, then he went to study the regulation of the regulators and studied some very complex system in terms of gene duplication. So that was a very important series of work that he's done over the years.
He got involved in working on maize genetics initially when he was the brief period of 4 or 5 years that he spent at University of Minnesota, Twin Cities. And then when he moved to Rutgers, he significantly expanded his maize work, including some sequencing, and also built the Waksman into what it is today. So he played major roles in developing the tools for DNA sequencing. He played major roles in applying those tools and helping others. And then he had this enormous impact on the institution of Rutgers, New Brunswick, around building the life sciences into the powerhouse that it is today.
All the faculty and staff were hired by Yo. So we really have to give him credit for a lot of the success that we've achieved here. And I think we're certainly regarded as the top research institutes, not only at Rutgers, but across the country. One thing that has struck me as a faculty member here is that all of us actually used the tools and approaches that he developed, has either used technology that Yo directly developed or that's based off things that he developed because it was so foundational. And I believe he was the most cited author in all of science in the 1980s because of the importance of this.
Yo received the Wolf Prize in Israel in 2013. And then he received election to the National Academy of Sciences in the United States in 2015. These are both awards that are considered preludes to the Nobel Prize. So clearly he had a recognition, he was recognized for his work. And I thought it was so good that he was recognized before his passing so that he could relish in that accomplishment.
Thank you, Tony. Good evening, everyone. Thank you to everyone for the wonderful video tribute to my father and the truly touching words. I would also like to thank the Board of Directors of the Research and Development Council of New Jersey for this posthumous award. It is an award my father would have truly appreciated, as the council's work encompasses many of his core beliefs in strengthening STEM education and innovation. This truly means a great deal to my family. My father was born into post-war Germany. My grandfather was a Mason. My dad had to help out a lot in the family business. And so for those of you who have met him, you now know where he got his big shoulders, not from carrying around centrifuge rotors or pipetting, but from stemming, which is the act of knocking off excess concrete from concrete ceilings and carrying bricks. Much like the namesake of this award, Thomas Edison, he came from humble beginnings. My father was always curious about the world, like many inventors. One of the many ways he showed this early on was his want to explore and travel. At age 15, he told his mother he was going to go for a bike ride for a couple of weeks. What he didn't mention was that he biked all the way to England and back, a bit of a rebel. By 25, he traveled around the world twice. His love and interest in the world was infectious and led to many family trips from China to the Grand Canyon. I believe much of his interest in traveling the world was also how he thought about science as a global endeavor. He always made an extra effort to work collaboratively with others abroad. Collaboration, as with many inventors, was vital to his way of thinking. While in pharmacy school in Berlin, he organized the first International Pharmacists Conference, getting invitees as far as the USSR and England to attend. Not only this, but he financed the entire event by convincing the head of Scheringa AG and the German Pharmacists Union to give money via a letter writing campaign. My father also never missed a good conference. I can remember countless stories of late night discussions at the Maze or this or that Gordon conference, exploring new ideas with others. Also, one of his favorite events was teaching a course at Cold Spring Harbor during the summers, where I also have fond memories of flipping horseshoe crabs. Also, all of this is a testament to his drive to teach and collaborate with others, the cross-fertilization of ideas and growing science. These ideals and approach to science were cemented by his willing and open distribution of his reagents and ideas central to the cloning and sequencing revolution. His seminal thoughts and demonstration of shotgun sequencing transformed agriculture, medicine, and basic science precisely because he distributed everything without restriction. All this was important to him, but more so than anything else, nurturing the next generation played a large role. From the countless lab parties around the pool or in our house, to newly arrived graduate students and postdocs living in our house until they got on their feet, birthday cake at every lab meeting, he placed a high priority on supporting the people in his lab with the time with him and afterwards. He did all this while finding time to play tennis with me on the weekends, father-son trips to Disney and Cape Canaveral. My father was a special person in the true sense of the word for me, and an individual not likely to be seen again. Again, thank you to the Council for thinking of my father, and on behalf of my family, we wish all the winners of the Patent Awards tonight the very best success in the future, in their future endeavors, as I'm sure my father would as well.